Hello guys, it's 899 here and welcome to my tips and predictions for the NRL Round 7 of 2022. By God, the rounds go quickly, don't they? In terms of last week, I went 5 of 8 because, boy, Parramatta and Canberra really like to just not win when they should have. And the Knights just, yeah, I don't want to go into that. But I still hold my record throughout the entirety of the season where I have not gone under 50% of my tips. I've always been on or higher than 4 out of 8. So, yeah, 50% of the time, I'm always correct. So let's get into it. Round 7, of course, Anzac round for all the NRL. Let's see what's happening. So first off, on the Thursday night, we have actually a very enticing match, to say the very least. We have the Cronulla Sharks taking on the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. Obviously, two teams that are very much in top 8 contention. Obviously, Cronulla did get a bit of a speed bump when they went down to Melbourne, but I think it's very good that they've kind of gotten that match out of the way so they can now know where their positioning is. Obviously, probably going for like top 6, but it's like they're just not that close. They're not close enough to the top 2 to challenge directly for it. Maybe if they play at Shark Park in the reverse fixture. I don't know if they do play Melbourne again. It'll probably stay here. But yeah, so, and also Manly come back very well, of course. They ended up beating the Titans, but Manly really wanted to put the Titans back in the game, but it was close, but unfortunately for them, they were able to hang on in the end. But judging by the games looking into this, I'm not sure about this. This game is going to be, I think, relatively close somewhat. But in terms of prediction, I do think Cronulla will be too strong for Manly. So current odds at the moment, Manly are $3 to win, with Cronulla being $1.39. And yeah, I'll probably go to the favourites. Next up, on Friday night, the sole Friday night game at 8 o'clock. It is the Brisbane Broncos up against the Canterbury Bulldogs. Did someone say early potential of a spoon match? Probably not, but yeah, in terms of both teams, it's really weird. You had Bulldogs were really in it in the first couple of minutes in the South Sydney match, the Good Friday match last week, but just the Rabbitohs just straight up ran away from Damien Cook getting a hat-trick. Like, what? He scored a try, then did another one, and did it again. Like, what? Like, how does that happen? And of course, then Brisbane also played against Penrith, which it was relatively close, but like a lot of the Penrith matches, is like it's somewhat close, but then like the last 20 minutes, Penrith run away with it. And so both teams desperately needing a win, with it being at Suncorp. The current bet odds are $1.65 to the Broncos, $2.25 to the Bulldogs. And being at Suncorp, I do think Brisbane are better, and I think Brisbane should be able to take the win. Now we go into the only 2 games on Saturday, of course, a few more matches on Monday, being Anzac Day, of course. So the first game on Saturday, 5:30, it is the North Queensland Cowboys up against the Gold Coast Titans. Basically, the battle for who is the best team in Queensland currently. The Cowboys last week did really well in the second half, I should say, beating the Faders, who did their usual fading from into obscurity in the second half. It was really weird to see. And it was like, oh, I actually tipped the Canberra Raiders to win last week. I was really happy in the first half and was fucking crying in the second. And the Gold Coast Titans, yes, they did lose to Manly, but they did push to them. Honestly, if there was probably like 5-10 minutes left in that game from when it ended, I think the Titans could have actually gotten a win then. But this match is going to be probably the game of the round. It's going to be the closest one. I don't think any team's going to really pull away from this. So the current odds are $1.95 to the Cowboys, $1.85 to the Titans. Sorry, Nick from Australia and Sam Revel. I'm picking the Titans to win. This will probably blow my ass. What? This will probably bite me in the ass because it is the second time in a row that I've gone against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys will then probably win to make me look like an idiot. But yeah, I'm holding claim. I think the Titans should win, but it will be a ridiculously close match, regardless of which side actually wins. And the final game on Saturday, it is at CommBank Stadium, but Parramatta are not playing. It is the West Tigers up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I've been having a very terrible sleeping schedule over the last 2 days. So basically, I sleep through the day and then wake up after like the 4 p.m. match that was taking place. I woke up to see the Knights lose to St. George, and then I woke up yesterday at about 6:15 to look at my phone to notice the West Tigers beat Parramatta. Didn't stream it, didn't watch it, but the Tigers won. I think very much well done to the Tigers for getting that win. I mean, like, what a performance it was, and it was actually, looking back at the highlights, it was a really good game. But yeah, so fair play to the Tigers. South Sydney, on their turn, coming off a very good performance in the Good Friday match against the Bulldogs. Damien Cook just doing mad things. It's good to have him at lock in your fantasy, must say. But the question is, do the Tigers go two in a row? Do they beat the Rabbitohs? Current odds suggest that Tigers at $3.50 to win, with the Rabbitohs being $1.31. My answer is no. I don't think they will. I think the Rabbitohs should be too strong. But, I mean, it happened to Parramatta, so we don't know. It'll either be the Tigers by just, or the Rabbitohs will blow the Tigers' backs out. Now we move on to Sunday's games at 2 p.m. It is the Newcastle Knights hosting the Parramatta Eels. Probably somewhat a bit of a rivalry because of, I don't know why. Something about the 30th of September 2001. I don't know, I was barely a baby when that happened. But basically, it is a very contentious match. The Knights are now 4 losses in a row after starting 2-0. The Knights were chasing the Dragons in that game, which the Knights should not have done. In retrospect, the Knights, I do consider the Knights better than the Dragons, but it's just in these games where we play opposition which on paper we should beat, we let them control the game, which is not what teams fucking do. You're not supposed to do that. Do you really think Penrith have been this successful for letting the ball be in the other team's court? No, that doesn't happen. And it's just really weird. Obviously, the Parramatta, I could go, oh, ha, Parramatta lost to the worst team in the comp, but it's stupid because all that's going to do is just like, oh, okay, and then, like, Parramatta just absolutely belt the living shit out of the Knights, which, in all honesty, probably going to happen. So in terms of the betting odds, it is $1.35 for the Parramatta Eels, and it's a $3.25 for the Knights to win if you're a fucking idiot. But you might as well just making a sports bet donation at that point. But in terms of this, I would say there's probably like a 10% chance the Knights will win, and it'll either be the Knights just barely winning, or Parramatta just destroy Newcastle. So I'm going with, honestly, I know what other channels are doing, but this will be like my weekly guarantee. The Knights are not beating Parramatta. The Parramatta will definitely beat the Knights. Now we go on to the 4 p.m. kickoff on Sunday. It is the Penrith Panthers taking on the Canberra Raiders. It's kind of like returning to form, because usually this would be the match slot that Penrith did have. I remember the Knights used to play them all the time at Sunday at 4 p.m. It was just a very common thing a couple of years ago, back before Penrith were the juggernaut they are now. So, I mean, what can say? Penrith for 6 wins in a row. They did really well against Brisbane. Brisbane did look really threatening in the early stages, but then Penrith just ran away with it. So Canberra appeared in the first half and then disappeared in the second half. There's a reason they're called the Faders. And it's just, I mean, you can't really do that fading bullshit against the Panthers. And it's at Penrith. It's not at Canberra's home ground. So, yeah, Penrith are going to kill them. And now we obviously go on to the Monday night matches, the 25th of April, the Anzac Day clashes, the traditional Anzac Day clashes. So at 4 p.m, you've got the traditional match of the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Sydney Roosters. The Roosters have been okay, sort of. They've been okay. Like, they have gone on somewhat of a run. They have beaten the Warriors, but again, there was a lot of things that happened. Hello, James Tedesco. Why are you holding that Warriors player's leg? And it's a bit weird, and like, even though with the Roosters bit of form, they do show up for this match specifically. St. George, obviously, they got a win against the Knights, and some random bloke who just had to try to piss off the biggest guy on the field against the Knights. Just got on his shoulders, which is kind of very sentimental to his whole career. Getting on the shoulders of giants to get into the spotlight. What can I say? Zach Lomax, who? I'm not salty at all. But yeah, so this match in turn, it's like the Dragons did beat the Knights and just with somewhat controversial circumstances. So it is the match of the somewhat controversial winners from round 6. It is at the Sydney Cricket Ground, of course it is. The betting odds currently $1.25 to the Roosters, $4 to the St. George Dragons. And I'm going to say, not the St. George, no, fuck them. The Sydney Roosters will take the win. Also unlucky to Connor Watson with his throat injury. Which doesn't make sense because he's not rooming with Palmer anymore, so I don't know how that works. Maybe he's like rooming with like Daniel Tupou or something. Probably a bit bigger. And then we go to the 7 PM kickoff on Monday, the final game of the round, and of course another traditional Anzac Day match. It is the Melbourne Storm up against New Zealand Warriors. The Warriors have been actually alright. I will give credit to them. They've been somewhat actually decent at points. It's just they can't get over the line. It's going to be a big challenge going on against the Storm, who, I mean, they just wasn't as dominating, but I mean, they still scored 34 points, so what do I know? But so the current betting odds, $1.10 to the Storm, $7 for the Warriors, which I think is a bit disrespectful. I don't think it should be that wide. I think it's actually going to be, and like I said, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think because the Warriors do show up for these matches. I still think Melbourne will win, but again, you don't want to overlook the Warriors because you don't know. I mean, look at 2011. And anyways, that is my predictions for round 7 in the NRL. Who do you guys think? Where do you think is the differential going to be from my predictions? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you later.